Welcome, everyone. Welcome and welcome. Thank you for being here today and join me in this episode of Allianz Joy. I'm very excited to have you here today. We always talk about joyful things, things that we're grateful for, and things that we can do for ourselves to make us feel better, healthier, more energy, fits, the whole thing, how everything falls in place when it comes to our minds and our body and our thinking, right? Our mindsets, being grateful, and in a great month for that. So as I do this month, every day, I do a little meditation on gratefulness because this is the month of being thankful and grateful for the things that we have. And also today I have a great guest. So thank you for being here. Join me in this episode of Allianz Joy with Ashley Torian today. Ashley is a friend here and a show host as well in Texas. And we had the wonderful time together. We were hanging out in the past and doing a great event together. And I would love for you to meet her today. So if you're watching us live or if you're watching the replay, reach out to Ashley also for total mind, body, spirit health. Ashley is the founder and co-owner of BioBalance and began her holistic eating and mindset coaching business a long time ago in 1991. So she is the expert on inspiring others to live a life fulfilling, right, and joyful. The word joy is in there, so that's always getting me, right? I love that so much. BioBalance was born out of Ashley's passion to work with people, to inspire them to live healthy and fit, and just kind of face your own challenges, right, when it comes to anxiety, weight, and body issues. This is Ashley's thing, like a vitality coach. She has an adult corporate fitness degree from Abilene Christian University and a training at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Now, this is very interesting. I love this. This is the world's leading school in nutritional psychology, where Ashley received her certification as an eating psychology coach. And in addition to that, she's also nationally recognized as a personal fitness trainer and behavioral change coach. This is all a mouthful, right? And I'm so happy, Ashley, to have you here today. She has a couple of great programs that we're going to talk about, which one of them is the End Zone. Another one is Armor Up. And welcome, Ashley, today to the show. I want to understand where you started with all this amazing bringing together diet, body, mind, spirit, healthy life stuff. Welcome, welcome, Ashley Torian. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Eliane. I am so happy to be with you and your audience today. What a pleasure it is. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about where your interest started, because 91, to me, that makes you an expert. That's a long time ago. With everything that's going on with our body and our mind, we talk about it on the show frequently, how we think will manifest in our body. One of the things that I do, if we think stressful, anxiety, we might have digestion problems, but I leave it right there when I explain it to people and start working with them. But you know a lot more about what really happens with our thinking and our anxiety in our body, right? So tell me a little bit about where it started.
Yeah, so it all started when I was a little girl. Seriously. So when I was a little girl, I was a worry wart, but I also at the same time loved the physical body. So I was a gymnast from the time that I can remember, 4 or 5 years old. I was in gymnastics and I loved the physical body. I was fascinated by everything that it could do. And I felt comfortable in my body until I didn't. It really kind of transpired. I think there's just a lot that goes on in our little minds when we're kids. But then also I had a gymnastics coach around the 4th or 5th grade that I went to him because I wanted to be Nadia Comaneci. I mean, I just really wanted that bad. And so I think every young girl my age at the time did want to be Nadia. But so that experience started my body dysmorphia. Because when I went, he said, "You are way too big. You are way too heavy. You have got to lose weight." Well, I got the flu one time. I dropped 12 pounds. I went the next week and he said, "This is perfect weight, Ashley. Do not gain another pound." Well, what did I do? I mean, that was
Wow.
6 weight, right? So obviously I gain it back. And so I'm very self-conscious about my body, thinking I'm always too big or the bigger girl. So that kind of haunted me. And then as I grew up through my teens and everything, I just exercised all the time. I was in track, I continued gymnastics, I was in cheerleading, you name it, I did it. I was always on the move because I had to make sure my body stayed thin. Well, in college, it kind of everything hit the fan with that. I began noticing my eating was real different. Like I would closet eat even more than I did in high school. In high
Mhm.
school, I closet ate pretty much, but in college, I did it a lot more. And then I would exercise myself to the bone to get rid of it. When I graduated that and went into raising my kids, I realized that my mind was, like you said just a few minutes ago, it's our mind that gets us in the muck puddle and gets us into that anxiety. And that was when anxiety hit me. My boys are like, I don't know, a year and a half old, when all of a sudden anxiety just entered my world and took over.
Mhm.
It paralyzed me in fear. Yeah, it did. So you're right. Whatever we are thinking in our mind is
Yeah.
going to be produced in our body. And
Yeah.
that stress chemistry is going to eat you alive.
Yes. Yes.
Literally.
Yes, it does. Yes,
Literally.
and it's so relatable. I understand it so much. It started a little bit later for me because I was already in my and I wrote and talked about this a lot as a child in my dance experience, right? I was going to be a ballerina and had that education there, but it was all about being measured every day with this little pinch machine to see how much fat you had on your body and just being super skinny. And so I remember the relationship with food started also at my unhealthy relationship with food started very early. And we didn't know in those days that that was here, right? It had so much to do with your thinking as well, because body and mind were kind of seen as a separated identity, entity, right? It was not really put together in those days as the somatic approach that we know now, right? That's what we're holding on to.
Oh,
So
so
if you are working with people and you wrote a book about it as well, tell me a little bit about your book as a
good.
brilliant author.
Thank you. So I wrote a book entitled Join Me in the End Zone. And there's a really funny story around this book. We created it with that title because it helped to get people to know that it was about a mindset, right? However, whenever I would go to book fairs and that kind of thing, I noticed that only men were coming up to my table. And I was like, what is going on? And I grew up in Texas, y'all. I was a football cheerleader from the time I was 3, cheering for my brother all the way through high school. So I knew
Oh,
about
the
Friday Night Lights and
anthem.
everything. So men were thinking, oh, it's a book about football.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
So after a couple of years trying to work with that, I then decided, let me just change the title. So you can find it under Join Me in the End Zone or also End the Diet Drama.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. End
And
of the diet drama.
End the
There.
Diet Drama. And End, END, stands for Embrace, Nourish, and Digest.
Yes.
If we embrace the wonder of our beautiful body and really get to know and listen, your body is giving you messages all the time, right? So we need to embrace those messages, but then we got to nourish our body for our life mission, for our aim, our heart song,
Yeah.
right? We've got to nourish our body for that. And so it's learning how to do that. How do you nourish your body for that? Well, if eating that piece of chocolate cake isn't going to have you standing on stage doing this talk, you're going to feel all bloated and yucky, then why would you eat the chocolate cake, right? Or if you are wanting to do mission work in South America and you're going to be hiking through, hither and yon, you
Yeah.
got to be healthy and vibrant for that. So you don't want to eat that's going to inhibit that.
Yeah.
So I was teaching people to reach for the higher, and then their food cravings or
Yes.
desires kind of get in line with what you're doing. And then digesting not only food properly, appropriately, but also our life, right? I didn't know how to digest those life experiences that were happening to me when I was a kid. I didn't know how to digest that. And I came from a great family, great parents that I could talk to, and they listened to me. And I even had a child psychologist that I went to for years because I had a learning difference along with all of this. And so I knew how to get help. I'm a pro at getting help.
Yeah.
But it's just about, learning how to digest life and not let life digest you.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think when we're young, we also don't have that frame of reference, right? Even if we have the support group and we can reach out and talk to people, we don't really know, in a sense of frame of reference, we really don't know how it could look like on the other side, right? On the super healthy side, dealing with stress and anxiety and being, we all did that. And I always say for myself, I did it wrong for years. So now I know how to teach you to do it right. In a sense of, I didn't apply, even if I was reading, I didn't really apply it to myself, right? I was just kind of like, yeah, maybe later. And we're not really proactive in those 20s, 30s, right? We're not really thinking about those things that we're doing now that will affect us. So I think that's the nice thing of where you're coming out now, being able as an expert again to help so many people because you've learned from taking those little steps, right? And applying that.
Yes,
In the
living in
sense
that.
of helping people, if you're thinking about, and this is so nice, but the thing that you're saying with digest is really kind of like what I'm saying when it comes to life doesn't get any easier, but we get better at it, digesting it, knowing, being aware of what's going on, right? That's what you're doing with your clients. You're making sure that they know what's going on in their thinking, what holds them back, what creates anxiety and stress, correct?
Yes. And then teaching them how to digest that, right?
Yeah.
Digest those emotions through a technique that is called emotional resolution. I love it. It's my favorite technique. I wish I had known what this was when I was 5 years old. And
Yeah.
every child should know about emotional resolution so they're not dictated by their emotions. Because when we make those decisions based on how we're feeling in our body,
Yeah.
we are going to be living that feeling over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
we've got to get out of that feeling of anxiety in order to make decisions for our life that we really want, that we really love, so that we can begin living that freedom. Because otherwise,
So what would it mean for somebody who doesn't know what that means, emotional resolution, in the one-on-one version of the dictionary?
yeah. So emotional resolution is the capacity to process the stress chemistry, the emotion chemistry that is in your body. So when people feel scared or afraid, there's a certain chemistry. Usually people go, oh my gosh, my stomach hurts, or their heart's beating rapidly, and they feel these sensations. So it's the ability to process those sensations without letting the mind interrupt the flow of it, because that's what happens in anxiety. That's why anxiety goes on and on and on. I had the first attack come up. It did not leave for over 365 days because my brain kept playing with it. And when your mind keeps getting in and telling you all the reasons why you're afraid, and oh, how that feels yucky, and oh my gosh, you're going to die. If you continue playing with that, what happens? The stress chemistry just keeps going, oh, you want more of this? Okay. So, your brain is just dishing out more and more and more chemistry. And
Yes.
so it's giving your body the space, the mind body complex, the space to be able to give free rein to that feeling. And for a lot of people with anxiety, that's the scariest thing to do.
And it has a lot to do, yes, with acknowledging, right? And kind of like taking the time
To
to
feel
be
it.
be aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and to let it do what it does in the body. But that's the thing is with anxiety, because we've been living with it so much, and not we as in currently, but how it was before, because I lived with it so much, I didn't know what peace felt like. And so the thought of you, if somebody had told me then, which I wish I had had this method back then when I was running in fear for my life every day, but if somebody had told me that if you just allow that to unfold and play out in your body, there is peace on the other side. Well, with a person that's in the middle of that, they don't feel that possibility. There is like no way on God's green earth is there peace on the other side of this. There's only death. There's only jumping off a cliff. There is only running for my life, right? That's what you feel like. I always felt like if I could just run and jump off a cliff, then
Yes.
I would leave the anxiety behind and it would not exist anymore.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And so but it's so true though, because that chemistry only has a lifespan of 2 seconds up to 90 seconds. That's it.
That's it. Just
But
let it flow through.
let it flow through. Yeah. But
Knowledge.
Elion, you know the anxiety mind though, right?
Yeah.
How many times can we really keep the brain for full 90 seconds not talking?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a
I mean,
muscle that we gotta
thousands and
build.
thousands and thousands of words are going through our mind all the time. And we
Yeah.
are so busy with thinking, overthinking so many times, ruminating, right? All these thoughts constantly of what if, what if, what if, what if. And I also teach people with anxiety a lot. And sometimes I say that you just mentioned it's nowadays it's also a big term, right? So sometimes I think that we almost seek a little bit of comfort in this constant state of stress and anxiety to hide behind the things that we do not want to do or the work that we don't want to do. What do you think? I mean, sometimes it's like a shield, right? Everybody has it. So it just is. We're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah. Oh,
A little bit
yeah.
of a sign of times. A little bit of a sign of times.
Yeah. So, oh, this is the normal for right now. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you kidding me? You're a child of the Most High God. That is not what He intended for you.
Yeah.
That is not it.
Yes, yes,
You are
yes.
not to be living in fear
Yes,
all the time. We're meant to be free and loving and joyful and
yes.
yeah. So yes, yeah. When people tell me that that's normal feeling, I'm like, no,
It
it
shouldn't
doesn't
be.
have to be.
It
It
shouldn't
could
be.
be, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a state of mind right now that, and I also feel sometimes that people are, like I said, are using it because they don't really want to look deeper. They're really a little bit fearful of what they're going to find. And sometimes it's even what I talk about a lot is people are maybe even kind of finding a comfort zone in it, the drama and the going on all the time, instead of coming to the really nice state of peace, almost being fearful of success, right? Fearful of having that peace and really being in a great place. So what are we going to do if we're so happy all the time, right?
Right.
It has a little bit to do also with our thinking nowadays, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. My coach said to me years ago, what are you getting from it?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't stay there if you weren't getting a reward.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so that as long as you want that reward, which is usually, and I do not like this word, but I tell you what, it cuts to the quick.
Yeah.
But it's that victim, right? Because we're getting something from it. So we stay in that victim to anxiety.
Yeah.
Because we're getting attention, maybe we're getting that we didn't get before. And it feels so good for people to pay attention, right? So it's not victim in this horrific way. It's just a natural process. It's to feeling that and wanting to keep it so that you can get the love that maybe you never had. But it always winds down to, what are you gaining from it? So if I find myself not venturing out and doing something that I know would grow my business or do something, that's one thing I ask, okay, what am I getting out of staying right here?
Yes.
What's the reward that I need to release and let go of? Because it's really not a reward at all. It's a punishment.
Yes.
Really what it is.
Yes, absolutely. And that's where I was going a little bit, in the sense of it's easier to stay there and be on the couch and getting the attention, right? So in that victim mode that many of us are, it's the same as what I do with my patients. If I ask them, or if my clients and tell me that they have anxiety, I ask them, what does it mean? How does it feel? What is the outcome for you, right? Kind of the same thing. Then sometimes they don't know, because it's just a state of being that is accepted as being normal right now. So I see that as a sign of the times, right? So in the sense of embracing and nourishing, I love that. Embrace, nourish, and digest, right? All the things that you're doing in your program. And you also do this on your show. You also talk about it on your show. You're a television show host of Ashley's Heart Song.
Yes.
Yes, I love that so much. Your heart song. It's kind of like the same trajectory, finding yourself through ways of being happy, embracing the way you are, embracing your thinking, being able to interrupt it, nourish yourself, and coming to a state of peace and happiness, right?
It is.
And so on for your clients as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's about being directed by the heart versus the mind, right?
Mhm.
Because the mind is typically jumps into the ego so much. And whereas the heart brain is our intuition, our connection, it's our wisdom center. And so when we can come from that space, from whatever that heart song is for you, and we stay in that impression throughout the day, then we have better results than
Yes.
if we decide to, okay, I think I'll step into the muck puddle of, what happened 2 months ago and keep that replay in my mind over and over, then the results of my day are not going to be to the satisfaction that I would love.
Yeah.
But if I stay in the impression of the heart song, then I am.
Yeah.
So anybody who goes through my programs, through the Armor Up program specifically, will create their heart song. They will find out what it is. And so it's really a beautiful discovery.
And I love that so much, the armor up. And it reminds me of some things that I frequently work on and talk about and love to discuss is that it gives us resilience, right? With armor up, I think about one of my favorite words that I love to talk about is going through that anxiety into a place of resilience, right? The victory instead of the victim, that kind of stuff. And so I love the armor up to that place of strength, finding it in your heart, the creativity. I'm thinking about my heart song, my creativity, where I love to be, my space that is full of flowers and joy and sunshine and happiness, right? Laying on your back in the grass and looking up to the sky, that kind of feeling. That's my heart song. If you're coming to that place, then you actually, just like you said, in the programs, you're giving people a little bit of a long-term vision of where they want to be and then work towards that, right? Because if you can see the outcome of a longer term place, then you can plan towards it. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's kind of seeing your dream, seeing your journey and seeing the vision where you want to go to. And that
Yeah.
helps your clients to move there in that space. Yeah.
It does. It does. And so the way I work the heart song is similar to a bow and arrow with the target. So the target is their aim goal. I love the word aim versus
Yeah.
goal. I don't know why, but it's just, I don't know, it's romantic or something, but I love that. So that's the aim. And then the bow is the heart song, and you are the arrow. And so every morning when you go to launch yourself into your day, you've got your heart song that is your fuel. It's the jet engines, right? And so when you load up yourself into your heart song, and then you launch yourself into your day being the same frequency as the bow, so the arrow and the bow are the same frequency, the arrow will have a direct hit on the target.
Ah,
Whereas
yes.
if you launch yourself out and you don't use your bow correctly, you just go, okay, I'm going to think about my heart song, but I'm not going to get dressed in it. I'm just going to recite it.
Yeah.
Well, then when it launches your arrow, the arrow is kind of, and it drops before it ever gets to the target. It didn't have any fuel, didn't have any gumption.
Yes. Yes.
By
Yes. Yes.
getting yourself firmly set in your heart song, and I talk about how to do that. How do you dress up into that so that you are that direct hit to the target? Because that's the only way we're going to get to the target is if we are an elevated version of ourselves than we were yesterday, right? We got to keep
Yes.
going. That's the only way we hit a target.
Yes, yes, that makes perfect. I love that. That makes perfect sense. Yes, I love the whole bow and yes, that makes perfect sense. If you're thinking about something as diet and nutrition, where would you put that into your program? So our thinking, of course, has a lot to do with the way we eat and what we put in our bodies. And as my friend says, if you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live? The same thing applies for nutrition and fitness. Where does that come in place in your program?
Yeah. So how of eating is immersed in every part from start to finish. So the very first way that a person usually enters into my programs is through my 3-day event that is free, and it's online in the Facebook group Vibrant Soul Reboot. And in that, I introduce them really into the method that I use. And so from that, they can go into if they like me and they like what I'm talking about, then they'll go into my very first program, which is the Vibrant Body Workshop. And in the Vibrant Body Workshop, that's when we learn how to nourish the physical body. So we don't really get into all of the soul work, the mind, heart, and emotion work. We work with the hows of how to do this. So there's a lot of mind, body, nutrition techniques that go into that, and some eating psychology techniques that go into that. And then also there is how to move your physical body.
Yeah.
So that workshop is an all-day workshop, and it is full of a lot of great information. And then from there, they go into the Armor Up, where we get into the soul work, which is the mind, the heart, and the emotional center. So that's where they learn 3 really big tools that will help to center those 3 brains, so to speak,
Yes.
and to get them into alignment so that you are achieving the results you want, whether it's with your body weight and your health, whether it is in your business, your romantic relationships, your friend relationships, your service, no matter what area of life you are wanting to work on, or maybe it's all of them, this program works for every bit of it. And that's what I found when I was a personal fitness trainer. You know, my clients would gain the weight, lose the weight, gain the weight, lose the weight. And it became just this craziness. And nobody was ever really happy. You know, they were on a high for a moment and then it dropped. It's like, there is more that goes with this than just working out the physical body. There is so much more. And that's when I discovered the aspect of the soul, which is mind, heart, and emotions, the earthly aspect of us that is ever evolving here on planet Earth. Then we have the spirit of us that is here to do something really, really, really cool on this earth. And it needs the soul to get into alignment with it so that y'all can get to work and get moving. And then the physical body is your vehicle for all of that. So we have to nourish the 3 parts of us in order to achieve everything that we would love in our life. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And it is so, I see it as what I sometimes do with my trauma-informed care, right? All the time that we are just working on our physical body and dieting. And I mean, we don't see how much we are obstructing that by other things going on in our lives. So it doesn't make sense if you're really unhappy and you're going through a lot of emotional things to start working on just a diet or just your fitness level, right? Because it doesn't align up. And that's basically what you're saying. It has all to do with that connection of what we are thinking about ourselves, how we are standing in our daily life and in our relationships, community, all that, right? If we're feeling worthy, even. One of the problems that I had for a long time is not really feeling worthy or respected or belonging. And those feelings are really, holding back to the way I see myself. Does that make sense? So I can't see myself as the healthy or the fitness person if I don't value myself correctly. So that was one of the things that I started working on a long time ago, to come into that place of having full respect and feeling the why and the purpose. And what you're saying just now, it has a lot to do also with people finding their purpose, right? And knowing why they're there. So that's what you're working on as well, as I understand.
Yes, that truth right there. Yes.
Why do you think that women in midlife do have more trouble there to just love themselves, find their purpose, struggling with weight, diet, the way they want to see themselves, etc.? Why do you think that is?
Yeah. Well, they just spent 20 years or more, for some women, raising kids, thinking about putting somebody else first, right? Putting 5 kids first, which that's what we're designed to do. We give birth to children. It is our role to care for them and to nurture them and to help them become good adults, right? Well, then when they leave the nest, then here we are oh, who am I? Right? You knew yourself as a mom, but then, and even if you worked, even if you were a career mom at the same time you're a mom, I was, but I know when my kids left the nest, it was like, okay, now who is Ashley? Because I don't really have that role anymore. You'll always have the mom role, but it's not that day-to-day care. It's like, wow, who am I? And what is it? And I think a lot of women get lost there because they don't know how to find who they are. You know,
Yes.
they think that, I don't know, I just feel like they get lost along the way because they look to the outside world for the answer instead of looking within. You know,
Exactly.
who's going to give me the answer to this? Where is it? And it's like, no, it's not going to be found outside of you. It's all right here. It's already there. You just got to see it. And
Yes. You
that's
gotta
the
find it.
armor up journey.
Yes. And you have to have the willingness to find it, be open to it, and finally to come to that place of not being scared of yourself and finding that heart song, right? And that's exactly, I would say exactly the same. I mention it so much. The people that I work with are just in that place of, I am willing to finally open up for the transformation because I really don't know who I am. And as women, I think we are so conditioned to caretake, right? To take care of others and of course the family, husband, wife, spouse, significant others, that we're so used to that we're just never putting ourselves in the first place till we're finally coming to that situation of, okay, what was I really, and a lot of people are going through career transformation at the same time as well, right? Because what you've done for 20 years to feed the family might not even be that thing that you really needed for yourself to really feed your soul. So definitely that is such a great point to make. And I think that a lot of women in our society are going through that as well. And on top of that, there's a lot of extra stress and anxiety, a lot of extra feeds that we don't need. I always say, right? All the news, the telephones, the computers, all that information that comes to us that takes our awareness of mindfulness completely out of the equation. We're just constantly in reaction mode.
Right.
Instead of thinking about where can we calm down and what can we do to make our hearts really happy. That is so awesome. Yes. The programs that you offer, there's another program that you offer. So right now the biggest one is your workshop and then going into the 2-day program of the Armor Up. What else do you offer, Ashley? Because I know you have a lot of programs out there.
Yeah. So I also have a retreat that is held here in Texas in the Red River Valley. It's beautiful. And so when you get into my programs, you will have the opportunity to attend one of the retreats. And the retreats are very, they're small. The most that can attend at one time is 8 people. And so it's very intimate and it's really, I love doing it, where you can actually really interact with everyone. And maybe one day it'll be the 25, but I like the 8.
Yeah.
So if anybody would like to jump in that, just join my free Facebook group. It's Vibrant Soul Reboot. And the free event is November 29, November 30th, and December 1st at 12 o'clock Central Time. And it's for 1 hour. And sometimes we go over a little bit, depends, but usually it's just about an hour. And in that, you can get a really good taste of my method and what I do and decide if you would love to do more with me. And then you can just start getting the healthy body, the body, you know, your vehicle set, because we go through the body. You know, a lot of people go, okay, I just need to change my mindset. So they start with the mind. If you start with the mind, it gets really difficult. Right? That's a lot of cobwebs to have to go through. But if you go through the body first, then into the soul work, that makes it so much easier, because learning what your body has been trying to tell you all these years and then backtracking it, you know, it's like starting at the end and backtracking and go, oh, that's why my body's doing this. Got it. Okay. And it just makes the journey so much easier. So we go through the body first, and then we attend to the soul and the spirit and get them married during the Armor Up program. So yeah.
I might have to do that. The front things I always say the stuff that we do as coaches and help other people with, it's not necessary that we always apply that to ourselves so well, right? So I love working with you, and I have done an amazing day of work with Ashley in the past, and women's retreat as well. And you are a fabulous leader and have just a fabulous program out there and do fabulous things. I loved it so much, especially the connection with people between each other, right? There was just real conversation. There was just real, it was real. And that's what I love so much about you, keeping it real, definitely. And I love that because we women, we also have a tendency of making it look nice on the outside, not so much for maybe our spouses or our husbands, but definitely for other women. And with you, it just became real. It just became just everybody being themselves and just in a really good place of respect and love for each other. So I love that so much about the power of Ashley, the power of you. I love that. So I would love to be there again with you and do that again. How can we find you and reach out to you, and website and the whole bunch?
Whole bunch. So the Vibrant Soul Reboot is through Facebook, and just search for me there. You can always message me on Facebook as well. Ashley Frederick Torian is the full name on there. And then my website is ashleytorian.com, and you can read all about all of my programs there. But Ashley is spelled with no E, so it's ASHLYTORIAN.com, ashleytorian.com.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And that's definitely the special Ashley, right? Without the E. I love that.
It is.
I love that. So ashleytorian.com, an amazing website. I saw it. There's lots of offers there. So go to find Ashley on her website and join her in a fabulous Facebook program. And from there on, roll into those courses to make yourself come in a better place and open your heart, right? With this beautiful heart song. Ashley, I love you. Thank you for being with me today. I love it so much. The things that you are putting out there, the things that you are doing for other women. Follow Ashley Torian also into her television show. When is your show? On Monday?
It's Mondays at 3 p.m. Central Time. And
Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time. So that's 1 p.m. PT and 2 p.m. ET. Find Ashley there on her television show that is called Ashley's Heart Song. Yes, Ashley's Heart Song. I love that. So find Ashley on her website, a television show. Follow her around for all these great programs. I appreciate you for watching today. I hope you had a great time watching us live on any of these wonderful channels and the way we outreach. I hope you watched the replay if you couldn't make it today. And react, right? I'm gonna post it on YouTube, so on my YouTube channel. Ashley's gonna repost today all this information out there for you. I thank you for watching today. Thank you for being with me on this episode of Alien Joy. I hope to see you next week. Tune in and we'll see you then. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ashley. Have a wonderful day.
thank you, Eliane. Thank you.